Hey everyone, welcome back. Grab your popcorn, hit that like button, and definitely subscribe if you haven't already, because you're going to want to hear how this one unfolds. Let's get straight into it. My whole life felt like I was living in my brother Ethan's shadow. He was the golden child, the one my parents poured all their hopes, dreams, and resources into. I was the other one. The responsible one, the quiet one, the one expected to understand when things didn't go my way because, well, Ethan needed it more. The biggest example? My college fund. It wasn't huge, but I worked my butt off through high school, part-time jobs, summer gigs, saving every penny I could. My parents had promised to match whatever I saved. It was my ticket to a decent university, maybe even study engineering without crippling debt. I had about $15,000 saved, and they'd promised their matching $15,000 was set aside. 30 grand total. My future. Then, about 6 months before I was due to start applying to universities, Ethan, who was a few years older and had drifted aimlessly since high school, suddenly had a brilliant startup idea. Some vague tech concept involving influencers and AI, buzzwords basically. He charmed my parents, as usual. They saw dollar signs, imagined him as the next tech billionaire. I didn't think much of it until I tried to confirm the college fund details with my dad. He got shifty. Then Mom dropped the bomb. "Oh, honey," she said, avoiding eye contact, "we had to lend Ethan that money. His startup needed seed capital. It's a fantastic opportunity for him. You understand, right? Family helps family. You can always work for a year or take out loans. Lend." I pressed them. It turned out lend meant gave. My savings, their matching funds, all gone. $30,000, handed over to Ethan for his half-baked idea. When I confronted Ethan, he just shrugged. "It's an investment, bro, gonna make us all rich. You'll get your money back tenfold." He didn't seem remotely sorry. My parents told me I was being selfish and unsupportive. My future, sacrificed on the altar of Ethan, again. I was devastated, angry, and honestly, resigned. It was the pattern of my life. But something felt different this time. Ethan started spending, a lot. New car, designer clothes, lavish dinners he'd post online. The startup had no website, no product, nothing tangible. He got vague when asked about progress. My parents just beamed, saying, "He's networking," or "Big things take time." My gut screamed that something was wrong. I still had access to the family computer where Ethan sometimes carelessly stayed logged into things. One night, fueled by resentment and suspicion, I looked. I found emails. Emails not about app development, but about booking luxury vacations. Bank statements for the business account showing huge withdrawals at high-end stores, casinos, cash withdrawals. Fake invoices to non-existent clients. He hadn't just taken my college fund, he'd likely conned other investors too, probably my parents' wealthy friends. The proof was mounting. Ethan wasn't just failing, he was committing fraud, using my stolen future to fund a lifestyle he hadn't earned. My parents were either willingly blind or complicit in their delusion. Now I have copies of everything. Bank statements, incriminating emails, fabricated documents. Ethan is a fraud, and my parents enabled him, sacrificing my future for his fantasy. The question isn't if I should expose him, but how. How do I blow this whole thing wide open in a way that ensures the truth comes out and they can't just sweep it under the rug again? I'm thinking, maybe somewhere public. Somewhere they can't hide. Update 1. Wow. Okay, first off, thank you all for the overwhelming response and the validation. Reading your comments made me realize I wasn't crazy for being angry, and it solidified my resolve. Many of you suggested hitting them where their reputation matters most, and that's exactly what clicked for me. So, after my last post, I tried talking to my parents one more time. Calmly. I laid out some of the initial evidence, the personal spending from the business account, the lack of any actual product. It was like talking to a brick wall. Mom cried about how I was trying to destroy my brother out of jealousy. Dad threatened to cut me off completely if I didn't drop it and support the family. Ethan himself laughed in my face, called my proof circumstantial, and told me to get lost. That was it. No more chances. No more trying to make them see reason. They made their choice. They chose the lie. My parents are members of a ridiculously pretentious local country club. It's their whole social world. Every year, they host a big, summer gala dinner there, inviting all their equally image-obsessed friends and business associates. It's their prime stage for bragging, especially about Ethan's meteoric rise. This year's gala is in 2 weeks. That's the venue. That's where the truth comes out. I've spent the last week meticulously organizing the evidence. I created a clear, concise presentation, scanned bank statements highlighted, key emails enlarged, timelines showing investor money coming in and personal luxuries being bought immediately after. I even managed to connect with one of the other investors, a retired businessman my dad roped in. He was suspicious too but felt awkward pressing my dad. When I showed him my proof, he was furious. He's willing to corroborate my story. The plan is set. It feels terrifying but also liberating. 2 weeks until the gala. 2 weeks until the facade comes crashing down. I'll let you know what happens. Update 2. Hello again everyone. Thanks for sticking with me on this. Last night was the country club gala. And it went down exactly as planned, maybe even more spectacularly. I arrived dressed appropriately, looking calm on the outside, though my heart was pounding. My parents were holding court, Ethan by their side, soaking up the admiration from their friends. People were asking Ethan about his revolutionary company. He was spewing the usual jargon, vague promises, soaking it all in. My parents looked so proud it made me sick. During a lull, my dad spotted me and waved me over, probably intending to show everyone how we were still one big happy family. That was my cue. As I walked over, I subtly signaled the retired investor I'd spoken to, Mr. Harrison, who nodded grimly. My dad started, Alex. Good to see you supporting your brother. Then, turning to the group, Ethan here is just finalizing a huge partnership deal, aren't you, son? I smiled politely. Actually, Dad, that's interesting. Because I have some documents here regarding Ethan's business that I think everyone, especially his investors, might find enlightening. Silence fell. I pulled out my tablet and a small, discreet projector I'd brought. Mr. Harrison stepped forward beside me. Before my parents or Ethan could react, I started talking. Calmly, clearly. I presented the bank statements showing withdrawals at Gucci and Vegas. The emails detailing vacation bookings, not business deals. The fabricated invoices. I highlighted the dates my college fund vanished and correlated it with Ethan's first big spending spree. Mr. Harrison then spoke up, confirming he was an investor, confirming the amounts, and stating he'd seen no return, no product, and had his calls dodged for months. He called Ethan a con artist, right there in front of everyone. The scene, it was pure chaos. Ethan turned ghost white, then bright red, sputtering denials that nobody believed. My mother started crying hysterically, yelling at me about betrayal. My father looked like he'd been physically struck, utterly speechless. Their friends, the other investors, the social circle, looked horrified, disgusted, and angry. Whispers turned into loud accusations. People were backing away from my parents and Ethan like they were contagious. Security eventually asked me to leave, which I did willingly. My job was done. As I walked out, I could hear phones ringing, people demanding answers, the sound of my family's carefully constructed world shattering into a million pieces. It wasn't loud or violent revenge, but it was absolute social and financial annihilation, delivered right in the heart of their vanity. Final update. It's been a few months since the gala incident, and honestly, the fallout was more intense than I could have imagined. Thank you all, once again, for the support through this. It meant a lot. As expected, multiple investors, led by Mr. Harrison, immediately filed complaints and lawsuits against Ethan. The evidence I provided was overwhelming. Ethan was arrested for fraud and embezzlement. He took a plea deal, avoiding a long trial, but he's facing jail time and massive restitution orders he has no hope of paying. His life, as he knew it, is over. My parents are completely ruined, socially and financially. They were kicked out of the country club, obviously. Most of their friends abandoned them instantly. They poured even more money into lawyers for Ethan, further indebting themselves. They tried reaching out to me, angry voicemails, tearful texts, demands I fix this. I blocked their numbers. Our relationship is irrevocably broken, destroyed by their choices, not mine. Last I heard, they might have to sell their house. Me. I cut ties completely. It hurt, letting go of the idea of the family I wished I had, but the relief is immense. I'm working 2 jobs, saving up again. It's slow, but it's mine. Mr. Harrison, the investor I teamed up with, was impressed by how I handled things and actually offered me an internship at his new consulting firm this summer, a chance to learn and maybe pivot my career goals. It felt like the first shred of real opportunity I've had that wasn't overshadowed by my brother. The revenge wasn't just about exposing Ethan, it was about reclaiming my life from their toxic dynamic. Seeing their empire of lies crumble, built on my stolen future and the deceit fed to others, was undeniably satisfying. Justice doesn't always come easily, but sometimes, when you stand up for yourself, it finds a way. I'm finally free to build my own future, on my own terms. Thanks for listening. End of script for TTS.